Hello and how's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest and the greatest gaming news. Your pale gaming news vampire is back at it again with another one of those Bethesda roundup videos. Today I'm going to break down all the most recent Bethesda news, rumors, and speculation. And keep in mind, I am not going to be breaking down, or at least not be breaking down in its entirety, the recent Bethesda Indiana Jones announcement. And in case you haven't heard, I did break this entire situation down, including a deep dive analyzation of the Indiana Jones Bethesda trailer in yesterday's video. You can watch that video by clicking a link down in the description below or here on screen, wherever it is, somewhere up there. And the real quick TL doctor is that Todd Howard is the executive producer of a new Bethesda Indiana Jones game. But no, Bethesda Game Studios is not developing this game. Machine Games is actually developing this game in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games as well, with Todd Howard as the executive producer. Like I said, I broke the entire thing down in yesterday's video. There was a 30-second teaser trailer I broke down as well, but in today's video we do have some new updates to this situation, to this new game as well, and we also have some additional Bethesda stuff also, such as the new Ghostwire Tokyo release date information, and some stuff regarding that Microsoft big buyout situation as well. But let's not waste any more time, and let's break all this down together, because as always, I'm going to be giving you the direct links and stuff for all this information, so you can verify it for yourself if you choose to. And our first story is, like I said, a new update to the Indiana Jones game situation, because a lot of people were wondering just how much work that Todd Howard is going to be actually doing for this new Indiana Jones game, because he is executive producer, and the executive producer isn't necessarily a developer position. However, Todd Howard has been said, he even said himself that he is pretty hands-on with his games, so as an executive producer, he probably will have a little bit more to do with the development process of the Indiana Jones games than most executive producers would. However, for the most part, an executive producer isn't inherently a developer position. And with that in mind, anyone in the community who is worried that maybe this will somehow take away from the development process or the timeline of Starfield or the Elder Scrolls 6, you can calm down, because like I said, I might kind of understand where you're coming from if you're not totally like engraved in the Bethesda like information spiral. However, the fact is, Machine Games is developing this game. Bethesda Game Studios isn't. Bethesda Game Studios are the ones who are developing Starfield and the Elder Scrolls 6. And in terms of Starfield, it's pretty much finished, and in the playtesting and bug fixing phases, at least that's what the majority of people believe, including myself. And Todd Howard is probably going to be involved the most with the Elder Scrolls 6. He is involved with the Fallout TV series as well, but you gotta keep in mind here, if he was gonna like invest the majority of his time out of any of these projects, it would be to the Elder Scrolls 6 and Bethesda games. But with that in mind, it doesn't mean that the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to suffer just because he's the executive producer of this new Indiana Jones game. And he actually is at the spearhead of this game, it seems, because according to a recent Lucasfilm and Ubisoft blog post about their new Star Wars game, which is a totally new thing, by the way. Lucasfilm is also in collaboration with Ubisoft to make a huge open world Star Wars game, which is amazing because that means EA finally doesn't have the like grasp over the Star Wars franchise like they used to in terms of video games. But I'm getting carried away here. I just think it's interesting that Lucasfilm is actually making a game with both Machine Games and Ubisoft, two different games, but still interesting. But nonetheless, in a recent blog post related to the Star Wars game, it was said that Todd Howard was the actual person who approached Lucasfilm with the idea to make this new Indiana Jones game along with Machine Games. So Machine Games was apparently Todd Howard's choice of development studio to make this game, which is interesting. He probably didn't want to take away from Bethesda Game Studio stuff as much, and maybe Machine Games approached Todd Howard with the interest in this game. However, it seems like Todd Howard could have low-key actually been hinting that he was making this game way back in that Xbox podcast where Phil Spencer and Major Nelson and Pete Hines and Todd Howard were all talking about the recent Microsoft and Bethesda buyout, because Todd Howard had like Indiana Jones merch in the background, but it's probably just that he likes Indiana Jones. And I believe Phil Spencer even came out recently and said that wasn't a hint. He just likes Indiana Jones. Todd Howard just likes Indiana Jones. But nonetheless, yes, it seems like Todd Howard is actually the person, the mind behind this entire Indiana Jones game. So it is actually essentially a Todd Howard game, just being developed by Machine Games, and that doesn't take away from the development process of any of the other developers. I'm just saying that Todd Howard actually approached, it seems, Lucasfilm with the idea of making this game. So he probably has like the idea of what he wants this game to be in his mind from the very beginning. But that's a new update to this Indiana Jones game. Another small update, I guess, to this came out kind of recently, or right after the announcement of this Indiana Jones game, and that is that this entire Indiana Jones game actually happened before the Xbox buyout, I guess at some point. I don't know how long ago it happened, but apparently that might be a good sign that this Bethesda Indiana Jones game might not be Xbox exclusive, but who knows. I'd still be surprised if it wasn't at least a timed exclusive, but here's some good hope that it might still be fully accessible to the PlayStation and the Sony audience. I hope it is, because I don't like exclusivity. But that's everything I have in regards to the Indiana Jones game that I want to talk about today. The next thing I want to talk about is we low-key got the Ghostwire Tokyo release date, like surprisingly, out of nowhere, just like the Indiana Jones thing. What's happening? Why am I turning like Inflatable Tube Man? Somebody stop me. And that is at the CES 2021 showcase, Sony revealed the release dates of some of their next most anticipated games, or in some cases release years, release windows, whatever. Every time I say release date, there has to be someone commenting me down in the comments saying it's a release date window, not a release, whatever. But the point is that Ghostwire Tokyo was actually announced to have a release date window, whatever, of October 2021, which isn't that far away now, and is super hyped because Ghostwire Tokyo looks pretty interesting and somewhat of like a breath of fresh air from Bethesda. It looks like it has its own aesthetic flair, a pretty interesting story, and I'm just kind of interested to see how this game actually plays. This game was also wrapped up in a lot of controversy, with Akumi Nakamura, the actual creative director and mind behind Ghostwire Tokyo, like mysteriously leaving Bethesda right after the game was announced back at E3 2019, which was super strange and mysterious. I even kind of had the privilege of somewhat meeting Akumi in the crowd at E3 2019, or actually, to be more precise, BE3 2019, their actual post-showcase party, or cookout, whatever it was. But either way, she looked like she was just as happy and as excited right after E3 2019 as she was on stage. So whatever happened must have like been really sudden, and just she left Bethesda directly afterwards. So there's a lot of like mystery revolving this game, also because it's gonna be a PlayStation timed exclusive, even though Bethesda is now owned by Microsoft, which is another strange situation. But either way, I'm super hyped for Ghostwire Tokyo, and we'll get our hands on this game in October this year, so there you go. You now know when to expect this game. We probably won't hear anything else about Ghostwire Tokyo up until it's released, except for maybe like a gameplay showcase or another trailer of some kind at E3 2021 or the Bethesda E3 2021 equivalent, if E3 doesn't happen for some reason, which I still think it does. But that's my Ghostwire update for you all today. And the last story is, according to a Microsoft insider who personally I'm not familiar with, however a lot of people do say that this insider is very, very credible. According to this insider, Microsoft has a lot of money going around in the mysterious places that I guess just money goes around in. Either way, Microsoft is actually like possibly purchasing a lot more studios than is actually like known about right now, and we might actually hear about this in 2021. Apparently a lot of bids, or at least like value for a lot of like gaming companies, are being looked at right now, and Microsoft might be making some major announcements soon, which is something I brought up in a recent video that a lot of people don't seem to understand. The United States government will not allow major monopolies to occur, or at least they won't allow it to occur over a very fast period of time, meaning if Microsoft tries to own a huge percentage of the gaming industry, or at least a substantial percentage over a quick period of time, the government could step in and put a stop to some of the buyouts. However, they only do that if it seems like a quick, forced, kind of shady monopoly is going down, but I don't think that's going to happen. But it is interesting to see Microsoft expanding so suddenly in the gaming sphere, because like I keep saying, Microsoft is a huge company just like Sony. Their gaming consoles and their games and stuff are just one portion of everything that Microsoft does and that Sony does. They're huge technology companies beyond gaming, so to see Microsoft upping their gaming portfolio so much isn't surprising, I guess I should say, but it is a surprise to see it happening so suddenly like it is, especially the Bethesda thing. That wasn't expected, and if the recent rumors revolving Microsoft possibly purchasing Ubisoft are true as well, then Microsoft would have just totally played a pretty crazy, successful, and strong hand in that exclusivity market. But like I said, I don't like exclusivity, but like I keep saying, this doesn't have to involve full exclusivity for any of the other studios that Microsoft is involved with, although it is very likely. But either way, as you can see, my glasses mode has enabled, which means this is the original source of this inside tip about all this money going around in crazy places. Brad Sams is talking about Microsoft in terms of there's a lot of money flowing around gaming companies right now. Several are getting multiple bids, not sure when or if any of these will close, but gaming IP valuations are soaring. And yeah, this is pretty crazy. And like I said, even though he doesn't inherently say Microsoft in this, apparently everyone in the comments and a lot of other like gaming news websites do know that he is talking about Microsoft, so I'm just gonna roll with it and say that he's talking about Microsoft. However, it seems like other people could be outbidding Microsoft as well for some of these companies, and by other people, probably Sony. I mean, maybe Amazon too, because Amazon is seeming to want to get their hands into the gaming industry as well, and who knows who else. Gaming is growing, a lot of people are making consoles, even freaking KFC is making consoles. Maybe KFC wants to purchase some gaming studios. That would suck for those studios, wouldn't it, unless they really like chicken, I guess. But either way, that's everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. Let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below, and as always, if you enjoyed the content, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn notifications on. And if you want to help grow the channel and the community, be sure to share this video and the channel, as sharing content is the best way to help grow a channel in the community. And if you want to help me overcome the YouTube algorithm trying to like not share my videos to people, be sure to share the video and the channel as well, and you'll actually be doing a huge part in helping to grow the channel, because channels really only ever grow if people share the content, and I would greatly appreciate it. And speaking of appreciation, thank you to these amazing people for going above and beyond to help bring you content like this. If you want to get your name added to this list and get a permanent video shout out in every single one of my videos, you can support the channel over on Ko-fi, Patreon, or here on YouTube as an exclusive channel member. Links for all this and more are down in the description below, and as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when the main character in this new Indiana Jones game is Todd Howard somehow. I don't know how that would work, but apparently it just does.
It just works.